Hi, welcome to me reacting to hate comments part 5. This first comment says, "You're really pretty, but your brows are a train wreck." See, these are the comments that really hurt me because they're true. I'm like, I don't know what to fucking do with them. I'm sorry, they're balding. This one is on a video titled, "I paid for Gabby Hanna's OnlyFans so you don't have to." The person says, "I wasn't going to. I don't think anybody was. You're just a simp and you can't admit it." You know what? I am a simp. There you go. I admitted it. On that same video, someone else commented, "That's bullying and body shaming. You're no better than men who demean women in the worst possible way, in a way that they have completely no control over. How embarrassing for you." I'm just like, what the fuck? What does that even mean? That's it. Onto the video. Hey everyone, boy do I have some tea to serve you. So today we're going to be discussing Keemstar's Twitter apology and Trisha and Dr. Drew's little therapy session. But before I get into it, I have to give a quick trigger warning because we'll be talking about SA. So if you're uncomfortable with that, I suggest clicking off of this video. But to those who decide to stick with us for the ride, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for some more hot tea. Also, for some extra tea, make sure to follow us on Twitter. It's at HotTYT. Now let's do a Philly D and jump right into it. So Daniel Keem recently posted a Twitter video apologizing for his insensitive comments about SA and SA survivors in general. Here's what he said.
Good afternoon, Twitter. During this vacation, I've taken some time to meet up and have conversations with victims of sexual assault and rape, all that types of stuff. There's a disconnect for me in some of the scenarios, and that's why I was asking questions on Twitter a couple months ago about is it possible to be like orally raped? Like, can't you get away? Like, stuff like that. You know, I'm a fighter, right? So from my perspective, it's like you fight, like you get away, you run. And I wanted to better understand this, and that's why I was asking questions. And you know, the way the internet is, the cancel culture, fucking, you know, the hate that comes from asking a question like that online immediately put me on the defense and really blocked a lot of really healthy conversations I should have been having. But even online, I don't think it would have been as effective as it has been recently, having these in real life conversations with these victims. One thing I couldn't understand or grasp is the whole freeze aspect of it. Like, you know, assault was happening, I froze up, I literally couldn't move. Like, that is so foreign to me. But to hear that over and over again, having these in real life conversations with sexual assault victims, it's something I truly believe happens now. And I guess I do understand it. It's hard, you know, being a guy and like putting yourself in that shoes, and it's hard. But to hear it and to see and like, you know, having this conversation online, I wouldn't have been able to like authentically believe someone like I would in real life. You know, you see the emotions in their eyes and you hear these stories, and I feel very foolish. And I totally understand why I got so much hate for just asking questions. I totally get that. Seeing these people go through that and hearing how me even asking questions offended them.
Listen, I appreciate the sentiment and I commend him for actually speaking out about it because it's very important for his incel little fans to understand these concepts. That's the thing though, even though Mr. Keemstar is all facts, no printer, whenever he does share any of his insane opinions, his fans who look up to him will take those opinions to heart. So like when he claims Justine Paradise couldn't have been SA'd orally, he, whether he wanted to or not, sent his fans to hate on her and invalidate her trauma. In this video, he doesn't even mention her or directly apologize to her. So like, as much as I appreciate it, it would have been even better if he did directly apologize to her as well. And let's just forget about her. What about Jessie Smiles? You know, Keem claimed that she couldn't have been SA'd by her own boyfriend. Where's her apology? Why is he not directly apologizing to the victims whose lives he's made so much more difficult? And on top of that, he says that he didn't understand the concept of freezing in these situations because he's a man and he's a fighter. Like, okay, Keem, freezing is a basic human response in situations like these, and it's not only women who experience these things. There's fight, flight, and freeze. Some people tend to freeze. I don't know. It just makes sense. It's not that hard of a concept. He also says that he had to talk to multiple SA victims to fully understand why what he said was batshit crazy. Like, I mean, you're also a 40-year-old man with a young daughter. Did you really have to talk to multiple SA victims? I don't know. It's just crazy. Good job on speaking out, but I think it's just far too little, far too late. But obviously that's also for victims to decide. Moving on, now let's talk about Dr. Drew and Trisha's little therapy session. To tease this interview, Dr. Drew posted this, misspelling Trisha's name. So you know we're off to a good start. Trisha starts by saying how she's been offline for 2 days now because the hate has just been too much. Dr. Drew commends Trish on getting treatment because he says she seems like she's being proactive. He then clarified that the last time he was on Frenemies, he was getting hate for being far more biased towards Trisha. Trisha announces that she just got on antipsychotics and is being treated. She and Moses are going to couples therapy as well. She also says that she knows she's getting better because compared to the other Frenemies fights, she handled the last fight way better. I mean, that's kind of debatable, but whatever. She then says that frenemies is not a thing that could ever happen again because she doesn't think that she can deal with the drama anymore. Which is funny because she has said so many times, time and time again, that she would love to go back on frenemies, and like it's Ethan is the only person that's like preventing this from happening. Like, this girl is just a walking, talking contradiction. After that, they discuss her BPD, and she states that she's addicted to sex, shopping, and food. Same. She says she has a bunch of unopened boxes with stuff that she bought that she doesn't care to open. She also says that her working for OnlyFans actually helps curb her need to have sex all the time, but it's a slippery slope, and since OnlyFans is banning explicit content, she just might have to stop anyway. Despite that, she says that she's doing really well. She points out how she's recently set a boundary about her sexuality and how she doesn't want people talking about her SAs and exploiting it or making fun of it, but it seems like her fans are kind of not having it because she's always doing Adam and Eve sponsors and talking about her sex life. Trisha says that it's okay for her to talk about it, but it's not for others. She doesn't want to be sexualized. Honestly, I agree that she fully has the right to do this and to demand people to stop making fun of her literal SA experiences because that's really messed up. Like, it's not even funny. She also says this.
Where is that coming from that they insist you're always lying? Again, with borderline, sometimes reality gets a little murky and you probably do kind of lie sometimes, but why do they insist everything's a lie?
I swear I actually have no idea. Even like recently, as of recent, everything I say online, because I am so careful to like not get sued or say the wrong thing. Like I really don't feel I've like lied about anything. There was one video that Ethan made exposing me at frenemies, and the one lie he showed of this whole thing was like, oh, she said she watched the Addams Family, but then on our podcast she said she didn't. Like, that was the one lie, and I was like, she's a complete. That's all I can think of. I mean, maybe the chat will say different, but that's the only thing I can think of that I've like lied about.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my god. Stop fucking lying.
She says she doesn't lie, but just exaggerates. Dr. Drew then asks her why she thinks she gets so much hate, and she says this.
What do you think that is? Why do you attract such strong feelings from people? Why do you suspect that?
I really don't know. Like, I really feel like I'm self-aware. I really try to reflect. So that one is the most complicated answer for me. Like, I don't. And maybe everyone's like, wow, she's always the victim. She can't say anything right. I don't know what it is, but I literally can't see why so much hatred, because I feel like, especially like as of recent, I feel like I've been laying low and relatively like normal. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Keep in mind, throughout the whole interview, the live chat is being spammed with snake emojis. Dr. Drew's crew all decide that the hate comes from both a combination of the audience feeling jealous and not understanding the symptoms of BPD. This was kind of weird because it kind of sounds like an excuse almost. Like, yes, I agree Trish is getting so much hate right now, and that's not right, but I'm not sure it's because everyone's jealous of her. But later in the interview, she asks Dr. Drew how she can talk about her mental illness without sounding like a victim, and I think she brings up a good point. She asks at what point does it become an excuse rather than an explanation. Dr. Drew doesn't really give a good answer, so I'll ask you guys to answer that one in the comments down below. After all of that, they talk about the fact that Trish doesn't really think she has dissociative identity disorder anymore. She also talks about being gender fluid and the fact that her pronouns are fluctuating by the hour. So she goes by she, her, he, him, and they, them, depending on how she feels. She says Gen Z is not accepting of her new identity and they think that she's just faking it for attention. And now here is where it gets juicy. Trish spills that there is a lot of other things that she could have exposed about David and Jason, but her memory isn't even that well, well, and she wouldn't want to get caught lying or exaggerating anything. She then addresses how she's been labeled an abuser ever since the photos of Moses's bruised arm went public. She says it's hard having it brought up constantly when they're trying to move past it. She then claims people like Ethan, Shane, and David put her in situations where she is provoked so she'll show a reaction because that's what gets views, you know? Dr. Drew, however, pulls through by saying Trisha is also exploiting herself by putting herself in these situations. I have to say, I honestly don't really like Dr. Drew, not only because he's a celebrity doctor, but because during the height of quarantine, he was one of the idiots saying it's less dangerous than the flu.
And you are more likely to die of flu. You're as likely that we don't know the fatality rate yet fully from the coronavirus, but it's going to be around the flu. You're more likely to die of that.
However, he handled this interview pretty well, and he didn't say anything too objectionable, so well done, I guess. And here is how other people felt in the comments of the video. Trisha Paytas is going everywhere they can to somehow verbally rewrite history and gain validation. They never hold themselves or their own behaviors to the equivalence that they expect from others. Disingenuous and manipulative. For the record, she folded like a cheap suit on Keem's podcast. How very challenging her discourse was, hardly. Just another opportunity to rehash what you caused but cannot accept. If you believe you're coming off strong, you're incorrect. Someone else said, I love that they're trying to explore every possible reason Trisha lies apart from that she's just made a career from being a compulsive liar. We're not spitting the atom here, folks. One last thing, not everyone is jealous just because someone has a lot of money or fame. People have a right to be upset if someone they care about is being mistreated. That doesn't mean that they don't care about people's mental illness, it just means that they won't let that be the excuse they can use for every toxic behavior. No one is jealous of Trisha. No one wants her life. I don't want to beat my boyfriend. I don't want to lie. I don't want to betray my ex-best friend. Bro, what? Trisha is not a character in my mind. What the fuck? We aren't quick to judge. We've been watching her for years. Stop. Question what she's actually done. And yes, that was it for this video, you guys. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll know all the tea. And also let me know what you think about the Keem apology because I am slightly conflicted. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a great day. Bye bye.